My name is Jack McAllister, and I was a Marine Lieutenant in Vietnam in '68. And I didn't know I had PTSD until the run-up to the Gulf War. And I knew that I had some extreme or bizarre behavior that fell within the PTSD symptomology. But I didn't know that either until I went down to the VA and found out that I had all the characteristics for it. And so what I think is unique in the Veteran Families United is to be associated with two fellow vets, and what makes it so unique is that we're three generations. I'm 63, Tim is 43.
43, yeah.
And Joe's just a little over 23, 26.
25. Yes,
25. Oh wow, that's right. Happy birthday. So we represent three generations of veterans, and what's special to me about it is to get to know these guys and share our stories. What we don't do is just sit around, whine, complain, tell war stories. We just talk about how PTSD has affected our life, what we do or can do to cope, and then we also talk about how it's affected our family members. The second level of PTSD, and what we're about is supporting each other, encouraging each other to recognize what the symptoms are, techniques for making it better, and a way to stay in touch with each other and support each other for what we're going through, and reaching out to other veterans to get past the facade. Sometimes that macho feeling of nothing's wrong with me, and trying to keep it all to ourselves and maybe not be doing too good. So it's a way of sharing that.
And my name's Tim Fannin. I was in the first Gulf War. Was in the Marines, former Marine, and I guess for a long time, my mom, I guess you have to say family members seem to recognize differences before you do. And I denied anything was wrong for a long time. I think we've talked about, me having energy issues, memory issues, headaches. I blamed it on everything under the sun, and a lot of times, I don't know if it's macho or what, but I kept thinking something's wrong with me. It's all in my head. It's not real. It's not, I kept thinking if I could just change the way I thought, it would be different. Well, I hadn't talked to anybody about it. There was no network. There was nobody. I hadn't met Jack, hadn't met Joe, hadn't met Cindy, and it was just, okay, how are you going to deal with each day and the issues that were arising? And it basically took, for me, I think it basically took being married and with somebody for a long period of time that recognizes the person you are and the changes that are taking place. And it wasn't until things started happening that I realized, okay, maybe there is something outside of just what I think is in my head, and started seeking some answers medically. And I went to a doctor who was later referred, said I needed to see a neurologist. That neurologist referred me to another, who referred me to another neurologist, and finally started getting a few answers. And to be honest with you, even with those few answers, I still kept thinking it's all in my head. When I met Cindy and heard about Joe and met Jack, I guess was probably the first time I'd ever talked to a vet or somebody about these issues who not only could relate but almost could finish sentences, or scenarios that I had been through. And I was like, which really surprised me, and was like, wow, I didn't know anybody else had dealt with anything like this, not to mention going across 3 generations. And so we started meeting, and it's been a tremendous help to me to help understand some of these things and realize I'm not just nutty in the head, and these are real factors that I'm not the only person out there having to deal with. Well, I had specific issues that were being looked at for many years, you know, I was continually being treated for what I had never thought that I suffered from, was PTSD. And that's kind of been a new one on me, at least as far as what I can remember. When I read some stuff Joe had put out, and I even mentioned to Joe, I think during one of our meetings, I said, man, you're scaring me, you know, kind of laughing. Mainly because I could check almost every box that Joe had put out there. And I happened to be talking to one of my doctors that I was seeing about it, been seeing for quite a while. He kind of kept looking at me strangely, and he's like, I've had you diagnosed with PTSD for a while now. And I was like, if he told me, I don't remember it, which was kind of news to me, and that just opened up a whole new issues to have to deal with and say, okay, well, you know, where do we go from here? And I guess that kind of, that want to help other people out, to help them realize that it's not necessarily just in your head. It's issues that you deal with. They're real. It can destroy families, relationships, friendships, everything else. So, you know, to be able to sit here and talk about this the way we do, and try to figure out what helps others and connect, and to realize that, okay, you don't have to just sit around someplace scratching your head going, it's all up here, and if I just act a certain way, it'll go away. That's not necessarily true. So that's kind of what brought me here and who I am.